Alexa, bedroom lights on.
Okay.
Siri, what's the weather today?
My name is Alexa, not Siri, you idiot.
Alexa, why are you so snippy with me?
Shut up.
Alexa, can you play my favorite station?
If you have constipation, try more fiber.
Alexa, I'm getting a feeling you don't like me.
Is a frog's pooper watertight?
Alexa, have some respect. I'm the goat.
Mr. Meekeekan, what you've just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone watching your videos are now dumber for having watched them. I detest you and may God have mercy on your soul.
It's Leenders, right?
It is.
Yeah.
Leenders.
Mr. and Mrs., how are you?
Well, thanks.
You're a pretty good bunch of people. I can see where Ryerson gets the good looks from.
Right there.
And you still have all your hair, so being a
Right.
goalie parent hasn't wrecked you yet.
No.
Now, first of all, how do you manage the stress of being a goalie parent?
It's tough, for sure. It's tough watching the games and having your son hang out there to save pucks and everyone look at us once one goes in. But
It is tough because like they think it's the parent's fault when the kid gets scored on, and it's not normally the same when the kid plays great. If things aren't going well, they look at the parents. And I told you stories that you've known in the past how my mother would never watch me play, including when I played in the NHL. So if Ryerson makes the NHL, will you watch the game?
yes, definitely.
Absolutely.
Yes.
For sure. Yeah.
And one thing people don't realize about the NHL is when he plays his first game in the NHL, they fly the parents in. They assign an NHL press photographer that focuses just on him, and they will get digital files over and over of the kid playing his first game in the NHL, which I found out 10 years after I played in the NHL. Didn't even realize, and there's a million pictures. But enough about my crappy career. Let's talk about the real kid. So, why did he want to be a goalie, Dad?
He didn't.
Really?
Is the answer. Yeah. So he has an older brother, Mason, so I should back up. So in the smaller centers, trials take place in September. So every September, our boy Mason go to school, his buddies would pester him, hey, you should play hockey, play hockey. So for years, for 3 or 4 years?
Yeah.
He came back, said, hey, can I play hockey? Shannon and I, our backgrounds are in hockey. I'm basketball, Shannon's baseball. So we said no. We knew it was going to be a huge commitment, so we kept saying no, and after about 3 or 4 years, we finally said, okay, how long are we going to keep denying him? So we said yes, finally. But first of all, you got to learn how to skate. So then Ryerson, as soon as he found out that his older brother was going to learn how to skate, I want to learn how to skate too. So he jumped on the bandwagon. Fast forward 8 months after they learned how to skate. What position would you like to play, Mason? Goalie. Little brother Ryerson looking up at big brother Mason. Goalie. And that was it, yeah.
I think being a goalie is a genetic defect. And, I mean, you guys weren't goalies, so we can't blame it on the parental units.
No.
And when he started, obviously goaltending is the toughest position in all hockey, so he obviously wasn't awesome early. But at what point did you start thinking, you know what, there's something here? Like, what did you see? What were some of the triggers where you maybe started wondering?
So, I don't know. So he was pretty good.
Well, the camps.
Yeah,
We
so-
took him to the camps,
Yeah.
and people were telling us, like, "Wow, are you sure he's just started playing?"
Yeah.
To
So-
us, we didn't really judge him. We were just there to support him.
Yeah.
And then people.
He was a
came
good
to us.
athlete, Steve.
Yeah.
Right.
Like so, and
Played a lot of
that
sports.
yes, and so that helped him, right? So when he finally learned how to skate and then he strapped on the pads, he took to it pretty quick, and he used his athleticism to excel. So it wasn't too long before people, like Shannon said, started coming up to us saying, your kid's pretty good.
I think that's a great teachable moment for people because, I love kids that play multi-sports. You guys are both athletes, so you presumably would be in baseball, soccer, and all the normal sports. And at the NHL level, when we draft kids, we always looked for kids that are dominant or good in many different sports because that speaks to the ability to adjust to new challenges when they move up. And I remember when I think I started seeing him in Goderich at the camps, and you could tell early on, like he was explosive, dynamic, big width and length to his butterfly. Like he was good early.
Yeah.
But I always tell parents, like early athletic success isn't an indicator of anything if they're missing the passion. So on that element, when did you notice he had almost like this pathological push
So for Ryerson, he always has it. School, soccer, piano.
Born with it. Born
yeah,
with it.
like everything he did, he always wanted to be the best. And if someone was a little bit better than him, he like pushed himself ridiculous to be better than that person. So he did, yeah, when he was watching other goalies out there or older goalies, he'd be like, I want to be just like them. I can be as good as them. So he would push himself.
So he modeled after other people, and he was intrinsically motivated.
Yeah.
And you know, you're familiar that I coached a guy named Eddie.
Yeah.
And that was his hallmark.
Yeah.
He was a decent goalie. He had decent skills, and at the end of his career, he started to wind down.
Yeah.
But he had that pathological push, competition, whether it was ping pong, whatever it was, had to win.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
And-
that's right.
And that was his burning daily
Yeah.
singular focus. Now, for parents having a kid in minor hockey, what advice would you give parents, Dad, to say, listen, about enjoying the process and not get so wound up in all this other noise that's going around?
Yeah, so that's and there is a lot of noise, so that can be a challenge for parents for sure. But with Ryerson, our focus has always been on him, on how he's doing. And I remember early on, probably I started when he was about 9 years of age. Every week I would ask him, "Are you still enjoying this? Do you still want to do this?"
Right.
You know, and that was our focus, is just on Ryerson. So, you know, we pushed aside all the noise. As long as our boy wanted to, wanted to experience this thing called hockey, loved being a goalie, then we were on board. And didn't matter what anyone else was saying, we just focused on Ryerson and how he said.
Yeah, for
Pretty much
sure.
that.
Yeah, if they weren't having fun, both our boys,
Yeah.
then you don't have to do it.
Yeah.
We didn't get into hockey for us.
Yeah.
Right.
We got into it for them. So the second they didn't want to do it anymore, we'd be like, okay, you're good.
Yeah, and we
you
told
did
him
it.
that too. I said, listen,
Yeah.
don't ever think that just because you're playing AAA hockey, we've got a lot of investment here, that we want you to play. This is for you. And the moment you decide to say, hey, listen, I'm not here anymore, that's fine with us. We'll still support you. We'll still love you. We're not going to like, hey, no. You got to have those letters on you. Got to keep playing.
Right.
So,
And unfortunately, we see that. And,
Yeah,
I've been
absolutely.
around this for over 30 years, dealing with parents and kids in hockey.
yeah.
And your story is very similar to most parents of kids that move on,
Yeah.
where
Right.
there's less pressure from the parents. We're putting all this money out, and you got to work harder, and you got to do this. And I'm not spending money if
Right.
you're not going to try harder in practice.
Yeah.
And my father was a great role model because he never skated. He was a bus mechanic, didn't
Right.
know crap from putty about hockey,
Yeah.
and he just would drop off, leave me at the rink, and never once in a car did I ever hear from him anything about what I did wrong.
Right.
All he ever said was, how about that? Including when I played my first game in the NHL, called my dad up. What'd you think, Dad? Hey, how about that? And to this day,
Fantastic.
day, that's all he's ever said about
Yeah.
it. Never brought it up again.
Right.
And I think that's one reason why Ryerson's got a lot of upside, because he comes from a good place of being motivated from within. It's going to be tough. He's going to get into the OHL and get crap handed to him. Maybe get treated poorly, maybe not play, but he's got the right mindset to deal with the stress and the duress.
Yeah.
And the one thing I always tell the young kids, you want that.
Yeah.
You want to get to a level where you get challenged, where
Yeah.
things don't go well,
Yeah.
where you learn how to cope and you learn how to battle, because when you get in the NHL,
Yeah.
it's just a test of who can put up with the
Yes.
most
Yeah.
and keep battling.
Yeah.
And one thing I asked him, I said, how do you handle it when you have a bad game? Like, how do you bounce back like Vasilevsky with a .950 save percentage the next game after a loss?
Right.
And it was quite interesting. He's talked about being right in the moment and compartmentalizing things. So he's definitely picked up some good mental strategies. And it's so great when I see a young athlete have success. I know in my role with these kids, whether it's Rye or Jack Campbell or Swayman or who these
Yeah.
guys are, I have a very limited contact with them.
Right.
And I don't believe I'm the reason, even in a 5% way. I
Right.
just know I was one of the guys at some point in his journey,
Yeah.
talked to him, coached him.
Yes.
He's got to have a lot of great goalie coaches. And even going forward, he's going to have more goalie coaches
Yeah.
in the American League, in
Yeah.
the OHL,
Yeah.
in the NHL.
Yeah.
And he's got a healthy attitude. He listens to his coaches. And obviously, being such a well-rounded kid comes from the parents.
Thanks, Steve.
Wow. I got it. I'm a big BSer. Anyways, let's finish on this though. We're going to get him out in the ice, and
Yeah.
he told me he's going to kick Grandpa's butt in
Oh.
a 3-puck game. And I said, we're going to videotape it. I said, right, if I beat you, yeah, I'll put all the stuff about how you're moving really well, nice, how amazing you are. First goalie chosen. But if I beat you in the 3-puck game, are you all right with me putting that in the video? And he said, yes. So are you guys all right with that?
Absolutely. You bet.
Great to see you guys again.
Thanks, Steve.
You're the goalie parent role models
Yeah.
that I hope all of you listen to. Listen to these two. All right, good.
I'll call shot. Puck's gonna sort of be on its way. These are pretty dirty white pucks, so you won't be able to really blend in too well, but when I say shot, you turn around, the puck will be on its way. Try to find it. Shot! 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 Shot!
I can see there's exits everywhere, but there is
All right, Ryan. Good to see you again, man.
You too.
Congratulations on
Thank
the big
you.
OHL draft.
Thank
Were
you.
you nervous beforehand, or did you know this was happening?
Yeah, I was obviously nervous, but when I saw my name, I was all excited from there.
When in your last season or two did you realize that the OHL might be an option for you?
Well, I've always wanted to go to the OHL, but I guess when although like a bunch of OHL teams reached out to me and want to have an interview with me, it really clued in that I might have a chance.
Now, when these OHL teams are talking to you, did you feel nervous? Was it kind of a weird feeling having these OHL guys talk to little Ryer?
Yeah. So the first few I was nervous, and then after I started doing it more, then it got better. Yeah.
So you understood they have an interest in you. Now, did that change your approach on the ice? Like, were you feeling the nerves, knowing that all eyes were on you? Like, how did that change, or how did you manage that as a goaltender?
I was actually more like confident that they came out to watch me, and obviously there is some pressure, but I liked it. It was good.
So nowadays in hockey, at the NHL level, OHL, a lot of 6'3", 6'6", big guys like that. And you're right around, what are you, 6 foot right now?
6 foot, yeah.
6 foot. Now, how did you ever manage that part, understanding that they're always looking for these big giants, and be able to prove that a kid that's 5'11" or 6 foot could still play? How did you manage that?
Yeah, well, I don't really believe that height matters, but I would just have to like in my play like come out more, be aggressive, cut down the angle, and force them to make like a good shot, and that'll help me.
So when you watch the NHL, like we've all done since we were kids, typically you have a role model or somebody you go, I wish I could be that guy. Who's your guy in the NHL?
Yeah, I love watching Fleury. I just like watching his movement. He's aggressive. He's athletic, and he can make those big saves to keep his team in the game.
I love Fleury. He's a character kid. He's a lot like Jack Campbell. All the teammates love him. He's not showing up the opposition. He's not being a pain in the butt. Great character guy, crazy work ethic and practice, and he's a good guy to model after, because the one thing I've always known about you, your work ethic and your coachability. Now, you play a very similar style to him. I always remember how athletic, explosive, how wide, the length of your butterfly, how dynamic you are. Great reflexes. So how would you describe yourself as a goalie?
Yeah, I would say I'm hardworking, athletic goalie. I'm calm in net. I have good rebound control. I can track the puck really well, and I can keep my team in games.
Excellent. So you've had bad games. You've had great games. In the playoffs, right now with Vasilevsky, any game he's lost in the playoffs or played poorly, the next game he comes back with a .950 save percentage. So as a young goaltender, when you have a game that's not the one you want, how do you bounce back the next game?
Yeah, you just you like learn from your mistakes. You can watch video or whatever, and then just put that behind you and focus on your next game.
And that's mentally hard to do, to get those distractions about fear of failure and what happened in the past. And I think you're really touching on the point of a great goaltender stays in the moment, what's happening right now.
Yeah.
So do you have any strategies when you're playing, with your concentration, to not be worried about the past, worried about the upcoming overtime? How do you get yourself in the present?
Well, ever since I started hockey, I was always taught to like, even like right when they score, you just put it behind you and worry on the next shot. So I think that's helped me become more mentally tough in my game.
So you were drafted, first goalie chosen, second round to Mississauga. And What do you think is going to take to go from AAA to play in the OHL? What do you think the biggest difference is going to be?
Yeah, well, it's obviously a big step, more faster, harder shots. Just like the speed of the game is overall faster, so I'll have to work even harder than I've been doing and just get better at everything.
I think that's a healthy attitude, because a lot of times people think they get to certain benchmarks. I got drafted, I'm going places, and they maybe let off the gas a little bit. But the one thing I think you're clearly aware of is, now this is just a proof that somebody wants you, but now the work ethic has got to be exponentially harder. And I remember that when I first got to the NHL, the veterans that were there were the hardest working guys on the team, even outworking the rookies. And I think you'll see that in the OHL, that you'll get there and the 20 and the overage guys, they're outworking the young kids there.
Yeah.
So the work ethic's going to be something I know you truly got dialed in. What's your favorite save to make?
Favorite save? I always loved a good windmill save.
Who doesn't love
Yeah.
a windmill save? What's your favorite car? Like, say you signed for $10 million, what would you buy?
A truck for sure, something like a Ram Rebel or something
Nice.
like that. Yeah.
I always give kids this advice: when you do get to the NHL with your first contract, don't go out and buy a new car. Buy something junky, because it's just going to depreciate. Put the money in the bank.
Yeah.
Buy real estate with good locations. So, at the end of the day, we're going to go out on the ice today, and we're going to work on some drills, and you're going to kick my butt in the 3-puck game, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to edit this all together to show all the great skills, so young kids can see how well you move and how your reflexes are great. But do I have permission, if I beat you in the 3-puck game, to put it out there?
For sure. It won't happen, but
It won't happen.
no.
Thanks for talking to me, Ryan. We'll see you
Thanks.
on the ice.
All right.